What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? Being calm. People accuse you of being cold if you are not as agitated as they are. Shuffling cards. Him? Wanna play cards? Me? Sure. Gambit routine with lightning speed. Him? Not for money. Right. I once had a neighbor catch me while I was taking groceries out of my car and ask if I knew how to open locked doors as they locked themselves out by mistake. Went over to their door, took out a credit card, and shimmied my way in no more than 5 seconds. Probably was bittersweet for them. My boss locked herself out of the shop last week and I did this. We're getting new locks and a security system now. But if you had told her how easy it is a week ago, she wouldn't have given it. Seeing is believing. Walking silently. It's always a good skill to be able to be quiet in a moment's notice, but do it too well and you start appearing behind people and freaking them out. How long have you been there? Type things. My parents' house has hardwood floors that everyone just stomps around on. I don't like making noise when I walk, so according to them I sneak around their house and scare them unintentionally sometimes. Being able to quickly convert between ounce and gram. A couple of years ago I locked my keys in my car in a Walmart parking lot. I went in and asked if they could help me. 2 employees came out with a Jimmy. The one guy made a bet with the other that he could unlock my car in under a minute. He then proceeded to unlock my car in 15 seconds. I told him thanks, you must have a lot of practice. To which he laughed and walked away. How much did he win from the bet? I don't remember. The only reason it stuck out in my memory is how quickly he opened my car and how smug he looked when he laughed at my comment. It's really easy to jimmy a car. If you know what's inside to visualize, you're just hooking a bar. It's just if you don't know the interior, it's basically impossible. A new car. Eavesdropping. I just passively listen to other people a lot when I'm alone, even if I'm doing something else. It gets really embarrassing when you bring up information you heard from their conversation forgetting that you weren't involved, or when you laugh at a joke said by someone across the room at it. My previous grammar frustrated me. Genuine kindness. My father was such a good soul, and people were suspicious about his kindness sometimes. Tying a noose. At basic training I got tasked to help the drill sergeants create their haunted house battalion competition. Long story. My drill asked if anyone knew how to tie a noose, and I whipped out a perfect one in only a few seconds. He just looked at me and said, "Private." What the frick? I just googled that and the smart result. I don't know what the name for the system is. Was my country's suicide hotline. Huh? I got the same. That's actually kind of nice. Whereas I got as far as how to tie before Google auto-completed it to a noose and then took me to WikiHow. Google clearly wants you dead. I don't think it's really an everyday skill, but being able to tell somebody by the sound of their footsteps. When friends or family approach my door, I know who's about to knock. I love creeping them out by saying, "Come in. Name here." You can tell a lot by the sound of footsteps. Who is it? Are they angry? Happy? Relaxed? Drunk? Are they wearing shoes? Heels? Barefoot? Though I personally have a habit of tiptoeing everywhere. The removal of stains. I like to use lots of bleach and get the you must be used to cleaning up the murder scenes. I like the smell of it. B. If I was cleaning up the murder scene, there are way better chemicals than bleach. I'm a bit disturbed that you know of better chemicals than bleach for cleaning up murder scenes. Does it make it any better that one of my friends has a doctorate in chemistry and another is a crime scene cleaner? You can't say that and then not suggest the better stuff. Typing. I'm definitely going to say typing. I type at a little over 150 WPM. I've been repeatedly accused of faking it, which sounds funny until it's your coworkers and boss saying it, calling your work into question. It's kind of creepy chatting with someone like that through IM. I spend like 15 seconds deciding how to phrase and typing out, "Did you like that one movie that came out last week?" And about 5 seconds later they respond with, "Yeah, it was better than I expected." I mean, it still wasn't the greatest movie I've seen, but I guess I'd recommend it to someone who likes that genre. It's like I'm talking to a bot. I might be that bot guy. To be fair though, it's just as annoying when the other person takes 5 minutes to type okay. I used to be a dispatcher for home hearing fuel in Juneau, Alaska, and when I meet people I'd say, "Oh, you live such and such street." I'd get an uncomfortable silence from them and have to tell them, "We deliver your oil." I work. Former garbage man here. Yep. Strike up a conversation with someone at a bar once who I absolutely freaking hated as a customer. These rotten pieces of it would throw food and refuse straight into a can that I couldn't put on a tipper, meaning I have to pick up and dump 200 lbs of bullets 6 feet in the air and dump by hand. As soon as I heard his last name, I repeated the first and his address. That asshole knew. He knew. He had seen me throw that goddamn can into the middle of his yard on more than one occasion when I had rotten garbage juice running down the back of my neck, because he was too lazy, stupid, or cheap to use a freaking bag. I asked him politely to use a goddamn garbage bag or two and left it at that. And he did. Remembering things about a person from a few months, years ago, when the person herself can't remember about it. You just look like a stalker and it's frustrating. I totally understand. People always think I'm a creep, because I remember almost everything about them after meeting, even if we met years before. Picking up on small details and remembering them for months. My friends are always like, how did you possibly remember that? I hate that. People ask me a question and I'm like, you asked me the same thing last week on Monday and the week before on Wednesday. You wore a black shirt that day and we discussed politics over lunch, which was a steak. But it's quite selective. There's a lot I don't remember. Remembering someone else's schedule. I've had people get a little freaked out when I ask how a specific appointment, task is going when I remember them telling me about it days prior. Yet, memorizing something always surprises people. My wife was suspicious when I could explain what happens in a Simpsons episode by the name or first sentence of the synopsis. I just watch a lot of Simpsons. Actively have Simpsons playing in the background right now. Being a very persuasive salesperson. If someone is too convincing, I just assume they're trying to scam me. Being persuasive can involve hiding the fact that you're being convinced. Yup, if you feel like they're trying to persuade you, they're not doing a good job. Running in high heels. Dudes that can run well in high heels have nothing to hide at that point. Somehow the first image that popped into my head was Terry Crews in a wig, yelling out of the way, Motherfrikers. Knife sharpening. Unless you're a chef. I once unnerved a roommate when she walked into the kitchen and saw me casually humming while sharpening my big frick-off chef's knife. What? I just want to maintain my big frick-off chef's knife and chop garlic more efficiently. Seriously? I hate using dull knives so much. It shouldn't feel like cutting down a tree with a handsaw, people. Whistling. I can whistle the Android text tone and it freaks people out. I can make a sound that is identical to the sound of a vibrating smartphone. It's basically a low hum through very slightly open lips and across your teeth. I used to sit in class and make the sound, and people would freak out and check their backpacks or purses, and the teacher would get super pissed, since having a phone go off repeatedly is distracting. Not tying. I learned from the best. A tight, 10 dominatrix down on 5th. Jackie. She never wanted me to escape. But why would I? Burn me with that wax domina. Hit me with that whip domina. Safe word was onion. There wasn't anything I wasn't willing to do for her when she had me wrapped up like Christmas present. One night, a client turned the fun on her. I found him, of course, made some knots of my own, gave him some knots of his own. He does not have hands anymore. He does not have eyes anymore. Guess he didn't know the safe word. Gave him some knots of his own. Oh frick me, that's brilliant. I look at license plates. I don't know why, but it's every day for me. But for some reason I pretty much had the license plate of the girl I liked memorized. It was easy to remember and we worked the same place together every day, so I saw it out. One time I almost slipped and said, "Hey, were you driving out in today?" And almost mentioned that the truck's license plate looked just like hers. Locating children. I read that as lactating. That's not better. So by an incidental combination of being a gearhead and at one time a tow truck driver, I am a little more observant when it comes to cars than most. I also have a knack for numbers and memorize things unintentionally. I've stopped mentioning to people that I saw their car somewhere or other. The movies, for example. It's awkward explaining that I know your plate and can spot your POS sensor from across the parking lot. Removing clothes off of an uncooperative toddler. Have a seat over here. Lying. Today I learned Reddit thinks that lockpicking is an everyday skill. I think it's the opposite. To be honest, I took up lockpicking as a hobby and people think it's weird and get off-put. But practice enough and become a locksmith. Nobody would judge. Smiling. I have very fast reading comprehension. People never believe me when I say that I've already read it and get frustrated that I don't take longer. I can't do simple math, but I read like lightning. I'm also very good with card handling, so everyone suspects that I cheat at poker. I encourage that. because it keeps her eyes on my hands and not on my face. My mom can speed read like that and it drives me nuts. One morning I gave her a book I had read, because I found it interesting. The Wealthy Barber. While we're watching TV, I hardly noticed her glancing at the book and she proceeds to toss it on the coffee table. Oh, I finished reading it. Wholly at 25 minutes at most. Given it's a fairly small book, 150 pages, it took me weeks to get around to finishing what she hardly flinched at. Crazy skill. Due to my job, property management, and me being a flake, used to lose, forget my keys a lot, I've gotten really good at quickly breaking into houses and apartments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.